Hello there, very happy new year. 2023 is set to be one of the 5 warmest years on record for the UK. But to start off 2024, many of us will actually see a slight downward trend in our temperatures. More on that in a bit, because to start off the week, it's actually mild air that we're going to see spreading its way in from the southwest. You see those darker orange colours moving in across much of England, Wales, Northern Ireland, but to the far north of Scotland, holding on to something cooler and fresher. That milder weather, though, does come in association with areas of low pressure, and that means wet and windy conditions. This area of occlusion front is going to push its way into parts of Scotland, but we also have our eyes on this set of fronts starting to push their way into the southwest. This is still set to some uncertainty. The models are slightly differing in where they want to position the exact centre of this area of low pressure, slightly further to the north, slightly further to the south. So the exact track of the rainfall is still a bit uncertain, but at the moment, at the time of the recording, it does look like it will push across the vast majority of England and Wales as we head into Tuesday, moving into parts of southeast and Northern Ireland, into the far south of Scotland as well. So there could be some localised disruption over the course of Tuesday as a result of that. Obviously, the end of December has been fairly wet, so add on this extra rainfall as well. There could be some localised flooding in places. There will be strong winds around as well, particularly for southern areas of England and Wales. Some coastal gales, maybe severe gales around at times. And for the far northeast, some very strong winds for Shetland and Orkney as well, with that second occluded front really bringing some persistent rainfall. Tuesday obviously is a bank holiday in Scotland, so probably the best conditions if you are wanting to get outside for parts of Angus into Fife, holding on to some of the slightly drier conditions depending on how quickly these showers want to push their way in from the west. Temperatures over the course of the day, particularly mild in the south now that we've got those mild southwesterly winds moving their way in. So here, holding up in double-digit figures, 12, 13 degrees Celsius for some of us. Further towards Scotland, Northern Ireland will be around 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, but for everyone, it's probably going to feel a touch colder than that, where you are underneath the most persistent rainfall and exposed to the strongest winds as well. As we head off into Wednesday, this area of low pressure is slowly going to drift its way off more towards the continent, but we still have this one centred towards the northwest of the UK, and that will be lingering around still with that occluded front for parts of the Northern Isles. So again, some very persistent rainfall for Orkney, Shetland, still with those strong gales around at times as well. Elsewhere, Wednesday is a mixture of sunshine and showers, those showers being pushed in by some very brisk westerly winds. So the showers will be heaviest and most frequent in the west. Further towards the east, you'll see something slightly drier, so maybe southeastern Scotland into parts of northeast England, seeing some of the best chances there. Temperatures again in the south holding up in double-digit figures, maybe just a couple of degrees lower, sort of around 10, 11 degrees Celsius. Again, a degree or so down for Scotland, Northern Ireland as well, 7, 8 degrees Celsius here. As we head into Thursday, this is when we start to see some of those cooler conditions really starting to arrive, and you'll see the bluer colours pushing their way in across much of northern areas of the UK. Still some yellows in there, so we're not getting to some particularly cold temperatures just yet, but temperatures just beginning their signs of things to slowly ease off. You'll also notice that those isobars are spacing their way out, so the winds will be coming a touch lighter as well over the course of Thursday. But the other thing that we do need to take a little bit of note of is this system that's going to start pushing into the south as well. There is increasing model confidence that we could see again another little area of low pressure push into the far south of England as we head throughout the day. So some further rainfall in here, and also with this building in those milder conditions once again. So a fairly wet Thursday to come for southern areas of England. This slice though through central areas, seeing something drier and brighter, pushing into northern areas of England and Northern Ireland, getting away with a decent day here as well. Showers persisting around that area of low pressure that's still stuck towards the northwest of Scotland. The most persistent rainfall for Orkney easing its way out, but still perhaps some lingering on for Shetland, maybe even falling to sleet at lower levels where we hold on to those slightly colder conditions. 7 degrees Celsius for Scotland, Northern Ireland, but you'll see those milder conditions still persisting in the far south, 10, 11 degrees Celsius once again. This area of low pressure will slowly continue to push its way slightly northeastwards as we drift into Friday as well. And we end up with those two areas of low pressure sitting to the northwest and the southeast as we head over the course of Friday itself. So this is where we'll see the most persistent rainfall as well as the strongest winds around at times. Meanwhile, you've got this slice from parts of northeast Scotland down into northern England, central England, and then southwest Wales and southwest England, where we'll see something just that bit drier and brighter around at times as well. Again, winds slowly beginning to ease their way off, and there'll be fewer showers around compared to recent days as well. So where you are away from those two areas of low pressure, something a bit more pleasant around, particularly compared to what we will see at the start of this week. And now you'll particularly notice that everywhere is in single figures. That milder air has drifted its way off into the North Sea as that low pressure clears its way out. So southern areas of England and Wales now down to around 8-9 degrees Celsius, 6 degrees Celsius for parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland pushing to around 5 in the far northeast. It's worth noting though that whilst this is colder certainly than what we are starting off the week with, this is actually closer towards average for the time of year, what we normally expect for around the start of January. So by your standards, it's not exceptionally cold, but it is certainly quite a change compared to where we will start Monday and Tuesday. And there's potential for further cold weather as we head into the weekend as well. It's all dependent on how that area of low pressure slowly continues to drift its way off into the North Sea and the continent. Again, the models are handling that slightly differently. Depending on how quickly we see that moving in is how quickly we'll see some northerly winds pushing around the western flank of that low pressure centre. Meanwhile, we've got high pressure building out in the Atlantic, and that is wanting to drift its way in closer towards the UK for the weekend as well. So if high pressure does move its way in, we could see something drier across the board really. And in between that, that's where we see that northeasterly feed of air really starting to push its way in. So that colder conditions moving in once again from Scandinavia. We'll start to see again increased chance of those temperatures perhaps dropping slightly below average for the time of year, and an increased chance of those overnight frosts turning a bit more widespread across more areas of the UK. An increased chance as well, maybe with some risk of ice during icy stretches where we do still have some lingering showers as well. So still plenty of things to keep an eye on over the course of this first week of the new year. We'll have plenty of updates on all of that across YouTube, so make sure you are subscribing to that as well as our social media channels, where there'll be plenty more throughout the rest of the year as well. And those 2023 stats in full will get published on Tuesday. We'll see you again here soon. Bye-bye.